Hello YouTubers. I'm going to do a little review today of this Dikavs do-it-yourself mini Tesla coil kit that I bought. There's the number there that you can get it from eBay, and this is what it looks like put together. Obviously the kit is just this part here. The power supply I had to supply myself, and the fan I had to supply myself. The board does have a place for the output voltage for the fan, so that's real nice. And this little power plug thing, I think it had another plug on the other end. Obviously I cut the wires to put the power supply I'm using in there. And the audio portion I haven't tried out. I just wanted to see the sparks. So let's take a look at this thing and see what it's doing. Let me turn it on here. Okay. We have, I don't know how good this camera is going to focus. We have our little spark here, about 2 centimeters or whatever. And makes a nice little small sound when you get the distance just right. And of course, this will, let me do that again, get the camera in the right place. We'll light up the light bulb pretty good. And I thought this LED with the coil on it, the coil would work pretty good. But actually it works better when you get the LED near either the spark up there or the coil just by itself. Works pretty good. But I did have some problems with this coil, this kit. Most of the components on the board, it's pretty clear where they go. And the only thing that wasn't clear was the main coil here. Let me show you a schematic just a moment. We'll get turned around. Excuse me, this is what the circuit board looked like. Okay. Right here, where I have the question marks, you can see on the board there's a pathway from this hole over to the positive of an LED, and from this hole there's a pathway over to the negative of this LED. So everything else is clear where it goes. But here your main coil sits in this circle, and it's got to be soldered in here or here, the one wire of the main coil that gets soldered. It was clear as mud to me which hole they were talking about, because this is the one turn coil symbol here. It looks kind of like a resistor, but that's what they're drawing the one turn coil symbol as. So here's the symbol for the main coil, and it looks like it goes from here through there. This may be a slash that I misunderstood as being part of this continued line here or whatever. But being how it was unclear, one thing that was clear, either this pathway or this pathway, one of them was going to be completely unused, because the main coil only had one wire that goes in one of these two holes. Well, I messed up and guessed this hole first. Then when I had the coil glued onto the circuit board and it wouldn't work, super glued, I had to carefully go back and remove the coil to get it off to play with again. So when I put it back in, instead of taking the tiny little wire and soldering it in the other hole, I used another real wire to go in that hole, and then I could make my connection there and double check continuity, make sure it was all working. So what threw me off also, they did not provide a schematic. This company did not provide a schematic. They had a couple of pictures that helped you see where the different colored LEDs, which one went on which side. I doubt that really made a difference. But I found a schematic online, not from that particular company, exact same MOSFET and transistors being used, exact combination of 2K and 10K resistors being used, 2 LEDs, the power jack, the sound jack, all that stuff was exactly the same. So I followed the main coil down and said, aha, it goes to the negative of the LED. Well, let's look at the circuit board again. This one goes to the negative of an LED. That's where I thought it belonged. Wrong. This schematic over here is for somebody else's model that looks, if you look at a picture of their device, it looks exactly the same, but it's not. In fact, I did some more research just trying to get pictures of the bottom of circuit boards, and most all the other models that I found, you see where these pluses here on the LEDs are even. Okay, they line up with each other. Most of the other models have one plus here and one plus on this side. So even though it's almost exactly the same, there are some differences. So if you get this particular model, be sure to put the wire in the right place. Okay, and as for the power supply, I tried two 9-volt batteries in series. That didn't work. This is the power supply I have on there that is working at 24 volts at 1.875 amps. So that's the power supply that will work for you. Getting back to the old Christmas gift motor thing I showed in another video, this is the updated version of it. I found that using smaller magnets seemed to it'd spin faster and stay more balanced. The big old things I had on the other one where I had a little bit of wobble in them. And also, let me grab this other mirror. This big mirror, of course, will work up there also. But this smaller thing, I think, works better in some instances. And what that is, it's a 99-cent store bicycle reflector. Obviously the reflector has the curve in the wrong direction. So I had to take the mirror thing out of its holder, reverse it around here, okay? And to get it out of the holder, when it's facing this way, you can't just, I tried prying a screwdriver underneath to pop this lens thing out. Broke one doing that. They're too fragile. You have to take a very small screwdriver, go around the lip, and push very hard to break the outside part of this lip. Okay. Now once I got it broken off, I could take the lens out, turn it around the other direction. Then I used the part that was originally the back side of the reflector. I glued this lens now that's facing the right direction onto that the back side of the lens. And to show you what this thing looks like inside here, there are the two synchronous motor coils that are sandwiched together. Okay, I have my transistor glued onto a piece of wood over here, the rocker switch here. Here's the LED. I haven't put it in the hole that it goes in yet over here. And I cut out a thick piece of cardboard and ran the wires through. And then what I did when I put this all together, I keep the batteries on this side of the cardboard and everything else on the other side of the cardboard. And I took the cardboard, and once I assembled it, I glued it in here. Okay, glued the cardboard in. And so this lid here becomes the bottom. You take the lid off, and basically all you see is the batteries then and a piece of cardboard. And also I decided to go ahead and put the LED and the switch in the visible position. My Christmas gift one, I had just the box as all you saw. You didn't see any of these additional components. So that's a little bit of an update on that, and I hope you enjoyed the video.